Real estate 2023, a roller coaster of emotions. I'm not crying, you're crying. Here's our year-end review. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Scale Through the Fail. I'm your host, Robert Bean, and today we are doing our year-end review for 2022. I think I said 2023 when I originally said it. I think I was saying get prepared for a roller coaster of emotions for 2023. But we're going to highlight some of the kind of crazy, impactful things that happened in 2022. But first, of course, we got to bring on Larry Lee. Every week I'm like, wait, which title we're using? TikTok master? I don't even know, but it's time for What the Mortgage is Going On. What's up, Larry?
What's up, boss? How you doing?
Have we ever actually established, or do we establish it every week and I just forget?
Yeah, I think I just said you can call me whatever you want, and as long as I know you're talking about me, we're good. But I go by Larry the Mortgage Guy whenever I title myself. You know, just
okay. I see it there, but then there was like somewhere else. It's Larry the Lender.
Yeah, that's my Facebook name.
Okay, all right, that's where I see it. Okay, man. Well, it is time for What the Mortgage is Going On, shall we?
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Boom. Let's do this. What the Mortgage is Going On with Larry Lee, or Larry the Mortgage Guy. Mm-hmm. In 5 minutes or less, we'll see. There's no timer yet. I still got your boys in there.
Nice.
I love doing those every time. It's so much fun. All right, Larry, take it away, brother.
All right. So last week we were talking about how we had to wait till like the first week or the end of the week of 2023 to really know what's going on with the economy and how the Fed's going to react and everything. And with the new data that's coming in, they're saying that 2023 is starting strong. How so? Well, the job market's good, et cetera, right? The things that we're looking to see what would affect rates, it's all showing positive, right? Which means the rates are actually going up. Okay. And it says along with
a what's your problem? Why you gotta go and get back to work?
Yeah. Well, I mean, holidays. I think holidays. There's a lot of laziness happening, right? People might have quit their jobs. Who knows, right? But I think like they're like, wait a minute, 2023. I gotta pay for another year's worth of life, so I better go back to work, right?
I gotta pay for another year's worth of life.
Yeah, or they quit and then they came crawling back to their jobs, say, hey, can you hire me back again? I mean, I'm sorry that I MF'd you, I mean, who knows? But the data shows that the job market is stronger, which means the rates are going to go up. Okay. It's funny because you look at last week's rate and this week's rate and it's exactly the same, but the numbers came from different directions, right? Last week, it actually went down to 6.5%. And this week it went up 0.09 to go to 6.5. So, again, every day that changes, actually it changes multiple times a day. Right. So we're just kind of it's almost like a moving train. We're just taking pictures of the moving train. Right. But basically this tells you that nothing's really happening yet. The rates did go down a little bit, but then they went back up again, probably in response to the news about the job market. Right.
Shout out to Blake Freeman for the first comment of the day.
Yes.
I need like those, the little kids cheering. Yay.
Yes, you do that.
One of those. It actually was really funny when I was doing this slide, because I saw these and I'm like, wait, okay, they're exactly the same as far as the actual percentage. What is going on? And then I'm like, but the percentage down or up, or the points down and up. And I was like, okay, I think I got this right. I'm not crazy.
Yeah. And you're going to go crazy. I mean, us loan officers were used to it, but you're going to go crazy if you're like chasing rates and you're looking at the rates every single day. Cause you're going to be like, wait a minute, is it up? Is it down? Is it up? Is it down? And it's almost like,
beat though. Can you do that again?
Is it up? Is it down? Is it up? Is it down? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, basically, if you do that, you're gonna just drive yourself crazy. We do it because it's what we do for a living, so we're used to it. But if you're that one person trying to get the perfect rate, you're gonna go crazy trying to figure it out. When people ask me when's the best time to buy, it's like whenever you're ready, and then you decide during that time when you should lock within the 30-day, 45-day, maybe even shorter. Then you can decide if it's a good time to lock or not. But
it's like people who drive to gas stations to save 1 cent per gallon. And you're like,
yes,
great, you saved 10 cents. You're a rock star. You spent 10 cents to get there, by the way.
yes.
So I guess you broke even.
You're exactly right. And time actually costs money, just so you know, right? I mean, people don't think about it. It's like
we have infinite time and we live forever, Larry.
Well, I mean, okay, in your world maybe, but in my world, every day I'm paying extra money for electricity, for food, for water. If I'm not renting, but if I was renting, I'd be paying every single day more rent. You know what I'm saying? So like the more time you take to make your decision, you're spending it someplace else anyways. So you might actually cost yourself more money by saving that 0.005% on interest rate, right? So on the MBS, if you take a look at it, again, we talk about the MBS, mortgage-backed securities, because they are one of the biggest driving factors on mortgage rates. And the prices are actually going up, but it went down yesterday. Okay. So it was creeping up and it went down a little bit.
Let me ask
right?
you this, because I actually had a question when looking at this. Okay. So
Yes.
I don't consider myself an MBS expert, but what I've seen just following this, right, doing the show, studying every week, is that typically when we see this happen on the mortgage rate side, right, where today it's up, usually the MBS is opposite.
Mm.
But this week we also see the MBS in the red. So like
there are adjustments, right? And sometimes these adjustments happen like the last hour of the day. Right. So again, it's like a moving train, right? Like when I looked at this, the today's rates, in the morning, the number was like in the 99s. You know what I'm saying? So as you can see, it did go down
in real time. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I can look at it real time. Yeah, but we're talking about one second in one day of the entire week, right?
So I guess my question is, typically, when we see mortgage rates go up, would it usually be that MBS is up or down as well? Because typically it's usually up. Only over since we've been doing this together, almost every time that mortgage rates are up, MBS has been up too. They've always been right, because MBS going up is green, right? Mortgage rates going up is red, right? We don't, so the consequences of that. So we typically see that. So I'm just wondering, is that typically what it should be? Or is it just we had some random months now?
Well, I'll give you an example. Like right now, I'm looking at real-time MBS pricing because, we did this presentation earlier. It's at 99.28 right now. So it actually went up 0.25 points, right? And because of that, the strong upward movement in MBS should result in lower mortgage rates for today. Okay. So it's almost like if the value, and that's what we have to look at the MBS. If you look at it this way, it's $98.98 is basically what I say, and I'm just using it as an example, right?
Right.
If it goes up to $100, then the rates should actually go down.
Right. Because the value of the MBS went up.
Yeah. So for instance, back in like April when rates were really good still, right? The MBS was in the hundreds, 108, 107. You know what I'm saying? Now they're under 100, right? So there's a correlation there, if that makes any sense. So we want the MBS to be more valuable. The more valuable it is, the higher it's trading, the lower its rate should be. So
that makes a lot of sense.
It's inverse, I guess you would call it that.
All right. Snapshot. I struggle fitting these giant pictures in there. And if I crop them too much, then it only shows the 15 and the 30-year FHA and fixed. So I'm always struggling with these.
Maybe I can give you better screenshots. That way you can
actually what I did last time is I think I put each of them on their own slide.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's what I did, but
this is better.
rushing. I did. That's what I did. All right. I got to just remember to do that next time.
No, but I like this better because you can compare it right away. right? I'll just take bigger screenshots for you. But long story short, is I mean, nothing really changed, right? I mean, if you look at it, 30-year fixed, exactly the same.
the same.
Yeah, I mean, 15-year fixed, exactly the same, right? So 30-year, okay, 0.02% difference, right, on the 30-year jumbo, right? FHA changed by 0.02%, right? I mean,
That's going to save me millions.
yeah, and again, this is after 7 days of activity, right? So it was like this, and then all of a sudden, boom, it just matches. So again, and it sounds like we're a broken record, but it's like there's nothing really to write home about at this point, right? So I wouldn't make decisions based on rates going up and going down anytime soon. It's just
So I want your personal opinion on this. Okay, your
sure.
experience and personal opinion, both. Okay, we've got all the Speaker of the House stuff going on. What a drama show! Do you feel because the Fed is not directly right, like House does not go into the Fed and make decisions for the Fed, right? Fed does not come into the House and make decisions for House. Do you feel, though, that the drama, the crap that's going on with the House, Speaker of the House and all that, do you feel that that plays any role into affecting MBS and interest rates? Personal opinion or your experience?
I'm gonna give you personal opinion, okay? Because I never really, I mean, it's almost like working with you has forced me to like know every single day what's going on. Whereas before, I just check the rates whenever the client asks, right?
This has forced me too.
Yeah. Okay, but it's good though because I like kind of seeing like the future and the present or the past, right?
You can see you can see the future.
Well, based on what we're based on what we're seeing, we can decide what to do. Like right now, we should probably be locking rates, right? Because rates are going down a little bit. You see what I'm saying? Well, today rates should be going down a little bit. So I'm on lock today, right? Because tomorrow it'll probably go back to up to 6.50%, right? So that's
huge, drastic.
Yeah. So that's what I mean by future. Like, well, how do I influence my decision making, right? So my experience, and I'm going to use my opinion more, like I said, is volatility does occur when things like that are happening, right? I'll give you, and again, please forgive me. I'm not politically, I'm not left or right. I'm kind of case by case basis. But when Trump was elected, the interest rates shot up big time, right? And I expected when Biden to be elected, the rates were to change. I don't know, up or down. I knew they would change. I always think presidential changes will affect the rates, right?
There's all those emotions built into it of this person's going to do this thing for me, and therefore I have this hope or I have this grim outlook.
Well, the thing is, no one can really know what's going to happen when the president gets elected, right? Whoever gets elected, right? But they know that there's a lot of uncertainty. So that creates, I believe, volatility, right? At least from my experience.
So you think this division will create the division amongst the Republicans and the Democrats and the crap that's going on in the House. You think it's not necessarily whatever they're talking about. It's just the fact that they're not united in any capacity. And for people, that kind of rings the warning bell, like, crap, we don't have our crap together.
Yes.
How many times do you use crap in this session already?
It's uncertainty, right? And I think uncertainty leads to volatility. That's from my personal opinion,
funny,
right?
is that when I was a lifeguard, and as a lifeguard, I was like 15 years old, and my instructor was like, here's something that's really important that you guys need to understand. You're going to make mistakes and you're going to do things wrong, but it's important that unless it's life-threatening, you don't argue in front of people and you don't call each other out in front of people. If you maybe told a kid to stop running that wasn't running and that's not life or death, right? You don't need to be arguing and bickering about it because it weakens the overall perception, because your main job as a lifeguard is to protect people. right? And so
Yes.
sometimes when I'm not sometimes, every time I'm watching these political things, I'm like, did you guys forget what you're actually supposed to be doing here?
Hmm.
You're supposed to be serving people. Anyway, let's do our takeaways. I'm the one dragging you on this.
No,
This
I
time.
liked it though. I liked it. That whoever told you that, it's a pretty wise person for just a lifeguard trainer, right?
Shout out to Rita Sargent.
There
If
you
you're
go.
watching, you're probably not, but
um, so yeah, the big takeaways is a good labor market is bad for both stocks and bonds because it suggests persistently tight monetary policy from the Fed, right? Um, so
man, that is so weird.
I know it's you know
Isn't it?
like people go, oh my god, is it when people call me up whenever the Fed it lowers interest rates? They're like, oh, so does that mean my mortgage rates will be lower so I can refinance? I'm like, no, it's actually kind of inverse, right? And there's more to it than just that, right? Of course, it's a major impact, but it's not the only thing that affects the rates, right? And a strong economy pushes rates higher and vice versa. Like I said, it's inverse, right? So if job markets are good, people are making money, people are happy, whatever, then that encourages spending, which of course means rates go up, right? If you took
Right.
any econ
Like we
class,
discussed a week or two ago, we talked about Jerome Powell, head of the Fed, purposely raised interest rates earlier on this year because they weren't curbing the expenditure that was going out, and they expected it would.
yep,
Right. And and eventually it did work because, like we discussed, I think it was last week, we saw a drop in November of 0.6% with retailers, which is a big deal, guys.
yes.
Black Friday and Cyber Monday for some retailers make up 80 to 90% of their business. Like it's like it's just incredible. It's just
Well,
insane.
that's why they call it Black Friday, because they get into the black, right? Like for the first 10, 11 months of the year, they're in the red. They're not making, they're not even yet. It's Black Friday is when they actually finally start profiting. So that's why it's called Black Friday. It's such a big, important day for them to basically become a profitable company for the year.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So again, in terms of the news, the thing that we've all been waiting for is what's going to happen. How is the year going to start off? What is the labor market? It's not complete yet, right? We're still in like literally not even the first week of the year yet, right? And there's information happening right now that's going to affect again how everyone reacts, right? Like today, there's going to be information about
Job
I forgot what it's called. There's a job report. I forgot what it's called officially, but it's more important than the last 3 reports that were reported yesterday, right? So, like my last
why
takeaway.
send the last reports, guys? Come on now.
Yeah, well, I mean, everyone. It's just
Want information now.
Yeah, it's just like credit card reporting. Everyone reports at a different time, right? So you never know when your score is going to be. But yeah, so the last takeaway is the fight ain't over. We don't know yet. We're still in the 2022 what's happening holiday mode.
Yeah.
I think second week of January we'll have a clearer picture as to what we can sort of expect in terms of the first quarter and how rates are going to be.
Love it. Well, now it is time for what the funny fact. Random funny fact.
It's not like you almost said it. What the funny?
That's why I do it, right? I'm actually so stressed every time I do this too, because I'm like, what if I end up saying it accidentally? I know. But then at the same time, it's so funny that I can't not use this acronym.
Yeah.
So these are random funny facts that make you go WTFF. Did you know that in Switzerland, it is illegal to own just one guinea pig?
Wait a minute. So you have to own 2 or own none? Does that apply to pet stores? Oh my god!
Can you help me set up my love and rodents profile? You ain't allowed to be alone in Switzerland.
Oh my god!
I read that. I was like, what's going on? And apparently it's because guinea pigs are not meant to be alone. And they will fall into depression and things like that. And so Switzerland was like, listen, that's messed up. So we decided to help a brother out. And we worked on Love and Rodent's profile. He always felt like he was a guinea pig that enjoyed a good ranch setting. sunrises and sunsets. I named him George. He's 5. His location is in your heart.
Nice. So you're telling me that basically the guinea pigs in America that are by themselves are just depressed and lonely and sad and want to die?
Well,
Basically, is
I'm
that?
telling you, Switzerland is saying that. And they're like, we don't want our guinea pigs to end up like American guinea pigs. Maybe that's why all those guinea pigs end up in the labs because
Oh
they were
man.
lonely. So yeah. Did that make you go WTFF? Leave a comment with your random funny fact, and we might just feature it in a future episode.
Wow.
All right, let's recap this. Today, we learned that interest rates are up by 0.09 points. I don't really think that's a good reason to freak out. So let's just move on past that. Mortgage-backed securities are down by 0.23 points, which, guess what, guys, also is really not, as Larry said, next week we might have some more to talk about. It's we got to wait for certain events to happen. We're going to keep updating you like we do every week. We're honest and transparent with you. Even when it's boring, we're telling you what's going on, and we're telling you what should or when you can expect more clarity. More importantly, I believe that all pet stores in Switzerland should have a buy one, get one free when purchasing a guinea pig.
Yes, I agree
Because
with
it just
that.
makes sense. That's
Yeah,
just good fiduciary duty,
yeah,
right? Like,
I
come on
agree.
now. Like, what happens if you're a pet store and you sell one guinea pig and then you have one left over? Like, what? Like,
Eventually, there's gonna be one leftover guinea pig. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Like, I feel like
Eventually,
you have to, like, the law should have a stipulation like you have to buy them in even amounts always, because then pet stores just get screwed.
yes, yes. I agree 100%.
Oh, Larry, thank you for doing that. Was what the mortgage is going on. We bring you mortgage updates in 5 minutes or less, unless I talk too much. Larry, if you're up for it, we'd love to have you back on and joining us with this next topic. Shortly, we're going to be bringing on our beautifully bearded special guest coming up right now. Larry, I'll bring you right back, brother. Thank you so much for what the mortgage is going on.
Thanks, boss.
Everybody, make sure you head on over to YouTube at Robert Bean Official. You can see my profile there and subscribe and like, because we will be shifting the show slightly to where this will be featured only on YouTube, live on YouTube. That's so you're going to want to get those notifications and things like that. All right, now let's talk about. I mean, we're talking about what WTF, right? Well, let's talk about what happened in 2022 and what you can expect about 2023. The great housing slowdown. Is it a silver lining or a nightmare? We're going to bring on Chris Rains, the icon bearded agent. I mean, this guy's been working really hard on that beard. Let me tell you. I mean, he's been training it. He's been putting some Mozart on his beard at night so it just grows properly. It's and you can tell the results are really, really paying off. Chris, what's up, man?
It's coming in strong here. 2023 is going to be the year that I can play Santa come Christmas time. So
Dude,
first
you will
time
save
Santa with a real beard.
a lot of money for your clients if you get to play Santa
That's
versus hiring one for Santa pictures.
That's it.
Man, so 2022 is behind us. 2023 is coming right up. And I'm gonna just briefly kind of give the description of what we're really discussing with this topic. So it's been quite a year for the housing market. We had a little bit of a frenzy at the beginning of the year of 2022 with buyers snatching up houses left and right, paying above listing price, waiving every contingency possible. But it's all good, or at least it's a little crazy, because all good things come to an end, and the housing markets party was no exception. Late in the summer, inflation and rising mortgage rates decided to crash the party, put a damper on the real estate shopping spree. Now, existing and new home sales are down year over year, but what's really interesting is that, as we've been talking about, people are still spending money, we're still seeing people, they're just being more intentional versus being more sporadic or chaotic or haphazard. They're just spending a lot more, they're being more focused on where they're spending their money, which I think is actually a really healthy thing to see in our industry. So housing economists left and right have assured us that the current market is nothing like it was over a decade ago when foreclosure spikes, home values plummeted. If you're a local real estate expert, you should know what's going on in your market. You should know home prices are not plummeting, even in the worst of the worst areas. Looking at you, San Francisco. Home prices, they take a hit, man, and they're going to take a hit. Things take hits because interest rates took a hit, right? Mortgage-backed securities took a hit. Well, of course, everything associated with those has to take a hit too. Stocks took a hit as well. That doesn't mean that Amazon's going out of business just because their stock price dropped, which is a correlation that people believe. So now, as we kind of look at going into 2023, we're just basically going to talk about what to expect. We're going to bring on Larry, who is also, you guys probably have never seen him before on the show. We're going to bring on Larry as we talk about the great housing slowdown and whether it is a silver lining or a nightmare. So, Chris, I'm going to start with you. Do you think that the slowdown that we're seeing right now, so interest rates really put a screeching halt on the crazy shopping spree, do you think it's a silver lining or do you think it's a nightmare?
So the slowdown's been coming for a long time. There's no way that we were going to avoid a slowdown of some sort because you can't stay with home prices continuing to soar like they were. It's just unrealistic, and a slowdown was coming either way. So whether the interest rates caused it or whether buyers just finally didn't want to pay $100,000 over asking on a house, either way, a slowdown was coming. So is it a nightmare? No. Is it hurting some people's business right now? Sure, it is, but I don't think it's a nightmare. I'd probably steer more towards the silver lining, and it was expected.
Yeah, Larry.
I wholeheartedly agree. Just like how we talked about a couple of weeks ago, a correction was going to happen, right? Really, there's a correction in inflation and in the economy and capitalism because there's a lot of failures that were supposed to naturally just go away, but bailouts and things happen, and it unnaturally messed with the way the capital markets work, right? So there's a lot of corrections that are already kind of lined up to happen, and the reason why the real estate market is such a big deal is because it's obvious. We see it in front of our faces. Everyone knows the housing prices were out of control. Everyone knows they're fighting 50 other offers to buy a house. Everyone knows the interest rates were low. It's like in our faces, right? So not a bubble or anything like that. You don't want to call it that, but more like an adjustment. Because again, Chris said it very clearly. People are going to stop wanting to. They're going to be like, no, there's no way I'm going above this number. There's no people. It's just like what is it? The Taylor Swift tickets, right? How a guy sold like an incredible amount. There other people would be like, no, I would never do that, right? So
Larry,
there's a line.
Larry, I've got to ask, how much did you pay for your Taylor Swift tickets?
Luckily, I know a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy, so I only had to pay like about $500,000. So
that's it.
It wasn't bad. Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a 50% discount on it. But yeah,
those were nosebleed too, right?
Yeah. I mean, with my Zoom camera, I can see, but I just looked at the screen. I literally went to the concert just to watch the screen. That was good enough for me. But yeah, like I said, it's to the point where enough is enough, right? And that was what happened, right? They're like, this is ridiculously stupid. People are making really, really bad decisions. And if you really think about it, there's lots of people who are trying to buy. Okay, let's put it this way. If there was 50 offers in every single house for like a good 6 months straight, then obviously 49 people missed out on that deal, right? So if you multiply 49 people times how many houses were sold, that's 49 times that many houses that were sold that are still looking to buy a house. They didn't find a house yet. You know what I'm saying? So there's still buyers out there, right? But they were just not willing to, let's put it this way. The moment the rates went up, they're like, you know what? This is just, I'm just going to wait. Right? There's just too many things going against us.
And this is really hard. This is, I've been pretty adamant, and sometimes I'm a little hard on everything to do with reality. But the truth is that, one of the biggest beefs I have with the way that our education system works is that it teaches nobody how to have realistic expectations of what reality is. Same for the licensing for getting a real estate agent. Like, we just see it everywhere. Every time a government body gets involved, you learn nothing about what it actually takes to live or do the thing that you're trying to do. So, for example, nobody taught kids, right? Nobody taught kids in any of the schooling and even some college students in economics that just because a stock price falls doesn't mean the company's going out of business. There are things called overinflation. They're overinflated stocks. They're overpriced. They're overvalued. They're overbought. They're oversold. Like, this is capitalism. And capitalism really has a metric that it follows, which is things happen. And when things happen, things get adjusted to the things that happen.
Yes.
But we don't really know what will happen until it's done. There are companies that should be out of business and then were artificially, like you mentioned, Larry, resurrected or saved from the grave. That messes with our perception of what things should be done. See, we could predict a lot better if the government didn't come in and bail out Bank of America. We could predict a lot better if utility companies weren't bailed out. We'd see healthier competition. We'd see less monopolies.
Yes.
But what happens is the government says, we're against monopolies. We're against the monopolies, but we're going to bail out everybody who owns a monopoly, who runs a monopoly. Wait, what? So for those listening, like, don't cherry pick data and facts to serve your personal opinion, because what that's going to do is it's going to prevent you from seeing and taking advantage of opportunity. All right. Don't go, oh, Amazon's down, I'm never going to buy Amazon. Well, Tesla's down, Walmart's down, Target's down, Microsoft is down, Nvidia is down. Pretty much every single stock in any of the exchanges is down. So you have to go back to, and it's kind of like what Larry said, when you're looking at these 0.01% changes in mortgages, right? That when you look at that, you have to decide, is it good for me now? Because if you base it off of this emotional, oh, Amazon's down, everything's down, but do you believe in Amazon? Right? Oh, well, interest rates are high. Okay, but do you see the value of owning a home? That's where you make your decision. Because in actually, we're gonna talk about this briefly, which is, I have it right here. Oh, it might be in the next article, actually. Oh, it is in the next article. We'll get into it. All right, I got funny questions for you guys. You know how I like to take these funny questions. Chris, we're going to start with you. We'll go with you first. Are we really in a bubble, or is this just another excuse for people to procrastinate on buying a house?
Man, I don't think we're in a bubble. And I do think people love to procrastinate. And that's not just on buying a house. People just love to procrastinate. They love to come up with any kind of excuse to not do anything that they want to do or need to do. And I can't say that I'm not guilty of that sometimes, that I procrastinate. I think everyone is guilty to some extent. It happens to all of us. But are we really in a bubble? I don't think the bubble's gonna pop. We're seeing slight corrections, which is what I've predicted the last few years. I think we're going to continue to see slight corrections, but I don't see a pop coming. There's way too much cash, way too many cash purchases, and way too much equity that a lot of people have already to pop. I think the bubble usually is going to come from popping when people are truly upside down, and I don't think there's that many people upside down. And there's people waiting to catch those that are needing to exit their home. And there's different ways of getting out of that, where people like myself, I'd be willing to assume somebody's mortgage that bought in the last year, especially if I can get in with zero down. Right. So when you start looking at those types of options, and there's different ways to
there's just too many
structure things. There's way too
many ways to come out on top.
There's way too many answers to their problems for it to pop. That's my opinion.
All right. So when people say there's a bubble, you think news or noise?
I think that's a lot of noise.
All right, Larry, your turn. Next question for you. Are you sure this whole housing crash thing isn't just a ploy by the government to get us all to buy tiny homes? I know. How do I come up with this stuff? Oh, wait, we lost you. Larry, you're muted. Hold on. You got to unmute.
I'm sorry. I was saying that. No. Yeah, my bad. If you really think about it, there's so much land that's undeveloped everywhere, right? Everywhere. And it's not like we can't build the infrastructure to literally populate every square inch of the land that's available. So tiny houses are really not necessary. So if they are trying to push us to do that, I think it's a stupid move. I don't know why they would benefit from that. So I don't I don't think that they are, but if they are, they're idiots. Is my answer to that.
It always makes me funny. It makes me funny. It makes me funny. It always makes me laugh when I hear people talking about how we don't have space. Now, listen, we do have finite space on this earth.
Yes.
But the reality is that we just haven't learned how to utilize what we have. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of undeveloped space because we're still using a lot of the same developmental techniques and skills that we've been using for 100 years.
Yes.
I mean, seriously, the more I study real estate, the slower you realize it moves. It is such an ancient dinosaur. And then what happens is that someone sees it and they go, well, this home is built with a special coating on it. And I'm like, but you still use wood and you still pour concrete. You really haven't changed. Yeah, you can say, okay, this is hardy board now, and hardy board is this, right? But the fundamentals of building the home are almost exactly the same. You chop a tree, you process the tree, you put the sticks up, you build around the sticks, right? We haven't actually developed a more, really, truthfully, right, a more efficient, effective, sustainable way to build homes. And because we're just doing same old, talking about monopolies, right? Keeping things within the gatekeepers. Because what happens is that the moment that people who own land that can't be developed can develop it, a shift in power happens.
Yep.
Opportunity exists, right? One of the most powerful things that you can have in America is desirable land. Land that can make money in some fashion or another. Well, if you don't have any natural resources on it, the only other option is developmental. And if you can't develop on it, then it's useless, right? It's useless land. But the moment someone can develop on it, it's extremely valuable. And you really think that people want that shift in power?
You can use land for something all the time, no matter what it is. There's always something.
Yeah.
Whether that's hunting, whether that's selling your air rights, whether like whatever you want. There is a way to make money off land.
You want to create a land? You want to create a landfill? I mean, yeah. I mean, landfills get they make profits too. But in reality, like the reason why I don't think it's a ploy because the government wants you to own as much house as possible so they can tax you on that. So I think tiny houses is actually counterproductive for the government.
Are you saying that you're for the government? Get out of here, Larry.
No, I'm saying it's counterproductive for the government to have people buy smaller houses. They want people to buy bigger houses with more land so they can pay more property taxes.
All right. So do you think we're in a housing crash, Larry? News or noise?
That's noise. It's just an adjustment. Just like every single day the rates are changing. It's the same old. It's just a really big one, but it's just a correction. It's a reaction. Like
all I see right now is Larry's hand as a dolphin. That's all I see.
How do you make it? What's the dolphin noise? I don't even know what the dolphin noise sounds like. I guess.
It's good.
I don't know. Keep going. All right, next question. Chris, do you think it's still a good idea to buy a house if we have to travel in the future to sell our future home to afford to buy the home we're trying to buy now?
Well, I'm going to reread that. We can still go. We have to travel in time to sell our future home to afford to buy the home we're trying to buy now. What does that even mean? Like
I'm gonna take a crack at it. I'm not gonna answer the question. I'm not gonna answer the question. I just want to try to interpret the question. I think he's saying, is it a good idea to buy the house if it becomes worth it in the end? I think is what he's saying. Like at the end of the day, you still profit. You still end up in a better situation. Is it worth it?
This is the way I understand his question. They've got their dream home that they would like to buy now, but they can't afford their dream home currently. So they're looking to buy their home now in order to set them up to buy their dream home 5-10 years later, whatever that looks like, even if it's 2 years later. So to start building some equity. That's the way I understand the question.
I love how literal you guys translate. I think
it's about the 3-2-1 buy down. That's why I think that's this thing. It's like you can't afford it right now, but in 3 years, I mean, if you can get the 3-2-1 buy down, you can afford it monthly for now, but in 3 years you won't be able to afford it. So you better like refinance or sell right away. That's what I'm thinking it's saying.
I love how literal you guys take this. I just come up with the weirdest questions I can to make you scratch your head. It makes everybody laugh and we have fun.
So I wasn't right.
Well, I mean, the simple answer is that you if you can't afford to buy a home now, just travel into the future when you could afford to buy a home, sell that home, take the proceeds back with you, and buy the home you want to buy now.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so that's the easy answer, but it's fine. It's fine.
Well, I mean, I think mine was the most realistic answer. I'm just saying for taking that question. I think the plan that I came up with right there to make
your plan is great,
realistic.
Yeah, I think your plan's great.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, I think too many people get stuck on want versus need, right? Yeah. Opportunity versus dream. And the reality is that unless you're just crazy rich, which by the way, I know some crazy rich people who still haven't bought their dream home. Unless you're crazy rich.
Because dreams change.
Dreams change. It's so emotional. And quite honestly, well, I think we've all talked about this before, is that when you have all the money in the world, you're never satisfied because you never have to make a final decision. And so you just continue to change and change and change things. I've had people who took a $300,000 home, made it a $750,000 home, and by the time they were finished, sold it because they were done with it.
Very common.
And then they went and bought a cheaper home, smaller, with not even a fraction of the features and the things they couldn't live without. I mean, it was wild. It was the first time that it was actually the first contract I ever wrote in real estate. And it was so bizarre because I was like, wait, what was your story? Why are you here? Like all they did was talk about how much they loved that home. And I'm like, well, you didn't love it that much. Like you got rid of it and you're trying to buy something that doesn't even come close to it. Like, believe me, I want the commission. I'm just confused. Right? So if for anybody listening, if you have the shot, take the shot that puts you in a better position.
On a hoverboard.
Better. What?
On a hoverboard. Definitely need to take the shot.
I mean, yeah. If you can,
for time travel purposes.
Yes. Yeah, if you can just hook up with Michael J. Fox and hitch a ride, you're gonna be great. All right, next question. What if the housing market crash everyone is predicting actually turns out to be a giant party? Right? Who wants to crash that party? Chris is looking like
I'm always in on the party. So I'm in. We're going party. We're going to party good. We're going to party bad. We're just going to party.
Oh, he said we're going to party bad. He's like, I want to bring some of that moonshine.
Good, we party.
You know who I am at this party? I'm like, I don't care what's going on at the party. I'm going to set up a valet for all the people that are coming in. That's who I am, right? Party's good, party's bad. Party, good, doing good stuff, party doing bad stuff. Doesn't matter to me.
Larry's out there like, yeah, I'm the valet guy, and then steals the guy's Lambo. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you even need a Lambo for anyway? You crack me up, man.
What's interesting is actually turns out to be a giant party. Well, most people are going to choose alcohol for party. And what's interesting about alcohol is whether it's good or bad, everybody's drinking. You drink to celebrate and you drink because things are bad and you're miserable.
Yep.
So It's very interesting as
Yeah,
I think about this question.
my dad ran a liquor store, and he said the reason why the liquor store was such a great business because when people are happy, they drink, and when people are sad, they drink. It just depends on if they're drinking alone or with friends.
Well, this is depressing. I'm gonna
That's
move
what he.
on
That's what
past
he.
that.
That's what he said. Though it was always a good business because of that.
So let's talk about what to expect in 2023. I'm going to give my little spiel like I always do, and then I'm going to ask each of you what you think 2023 is
I
going to
can
look
guarantee you one thing: you cannot buy a roof for $1. This will be the only $1 roof you ever see.
You're welcome.
2023.
You're welcome.
I like it.
So 2023 real estate forecast. Get your party hats ready because mortgage rates may not skyrocket. They may, who knows? And rent prices could actually go down or they could not. In other words, we have no idea what's going to happen, but we can party all the way through it. 2023 is shaping up to be a real game changer for the real estate market, though. I think we're going to see some mortgage rates potentially stabilizing. I can't wait to hear Larry and Chris's opinions because they come from two different perspectives in the industry. A lot of experts say the 2022 rate hike, we're not done. Jerome Powell has hinted at we're not done. Now, Larry shared with us how the year's already kicking off strong, which means we might see some more, but we don't have reason initially to believe that it's going to be wild and crazy and out of control, like the polarizing 3, 4, 5% jumps in a single year. That's absolutely absurd. So, for those feeling extra optimistic, there's actually a chance of snagging a great deal during potential housing downturns like this, slow times, downturns. There's a lot to be said with what's going on. So I'm going to ask, let's start with you, Larry. What do you think the real estate industry is going to look like in 2023?
I think there's a little bit of acceptance of the way things are, right? So I don't believe, and this is me throwing a kind of a bet out there, rates are going to get that much more worse. I don't think that. I heard people predicting they're going to be in the 10s, blah, blah, blah. No, I don't think so, right? I think they're going to be maybe in the neighborhood of the 6 and the 7s that we're seeing or lower, right? And it's very crazy that I'm predicting that because it's always easier to predict that rates are going to go up, right? But I'm actually predicting the rates are either going to stay the same or go down. And I'm throwing it out there, right? But even if they stay the same, I think the housing market and people who are trying to enter the housing market is going to accept that this is the new normal, right? And I don't like it when people say that, but I really think that's when people be like, it is what it is. We can't wait any longer, right? We've waited. Nothing has changed. We got to buy now, right? Or we have to sell now, right? They're going to accept it and they're going to slowly, mentally, recalibrate their brains to just plan based on this new normal, right? This is going to be the rate. This is going to be the monthly payment we're paying. This is the amount that we're going to get for our house. They're going to accept it and they're going to go ahead and proceed with life, right? Yeah. Because I think there's people out there who bought because of the lower interest rates, who entered the market artificially. That means they were not supposed to buy or sell because they were happy or they're perfectly good or fine with where they're at, but because of the FOMO, meaning fear of missing out on the low rates, they took advantage of it. I have people who sold their house and they're renting right now because they want to take advantage of the skyrocketing prices, but they had no plan as to what they're going to buy, right? So a lot of people enter the market incorrectly, artificially. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think now there's people who, but there's also people who moved because they had to, because there's an upward movement in their job. They have a family they're growing, or location-wise just make more sense. There's people who have to move, right? Those people are the people that were affected by the artificial purchasing, right? Now, the people who are moving are people who are moving because they have to, and there's people who are hesitant to move because even though they have to because of how rates are, whatever. But now they're going to have to just accept reality and be like, you know what? We have no choice. We have to move now. We've been waiting too long. Our lease is about to run out, whatever. We have to move. We're going to accept our reality and just move forward.
Well said.
Right.
Chris, what about you?
2023 real estate forecast. I'm going to sell a bunch of homes. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to sell a bunch of homes. And if you're looking to buy or sell out there, give me a call.
Well said. Bravo. Short, sweet, to the point. Hey, let me help you. You make good real estate choices. I make good real estate money. We all win. Let's go.
Let's go. That's it. No, really. 2023. I see a bunch of sellers coming to reality. I see a bunch of buyers trying to figure out how to still get a deal in current market. I see a bunch of deals still happening. There's still going to be closings. There's still going to be people selling their home. And I think that sellers are going to be looking for agents that have good experience. I think there's going to be a lot of expired listings that are looking to relist, and they're now looking for an agent that can answer their questions, that can tell them why their home didn't sell. I think there's going to be a lot of buyer's agents that are going to be looking for an agent that can help them negotiate, that can help them figure out how to structure the best deal rather than just here, take all my money. I think there's people that are going to be looking for people that know how to put deals together on either side of it. And I do think that the top agents are going to take more market share. The agents that are putting in the work are going to do more deals. I think the agents that don't know what they're doing and aren't putting in the work are going to do even less deals.
You know what's funny is, and I'll keep it quick because then, would it even be the show without crazy questions? So what I want to say though is it's now more than ever, an agent who knows numbers, who knows how to put together a solid deal is important. Listen, not every seller can come down $100K on their list price. People do need to understand that. See, that is one selling point for buyers in this current market. I agree, getting under list price. But even then, I'm seeing these grandiose posts and videos from agents like, this is your time. Homes that are 600K, you can get them for 300K. And I'm like, the seller's just going to stay in their home if they can't make money off of it. So you have to understand that there is only so much they can reasonably go. But a good agent knows how to make those numbers up elsewhere. Make up those numbers, not make them up like they're fake. I'm not talking about cooking the books. I'm talking about negotiating repairs, negotiating credits, negotiating closing costs, negotiating rate buy downs. There's a lot there to where you can come in ahead of people who have a lower interest rate. Listen, every house has problems. To be able to go into a house and have someone fix it up for you, have someone give you a credit to fix it up yourself, right? To help you pay down that mortgage rate a little bit. There's a lot of opportunity, but the problem is that all that people are screaming about for the most part, agents and consumers, are, I can get the house below list price. Well, listen, have intentionality in what you're doing and have a plan and a purpose. A good agent is going to read the room. He's going to draw the comps. A good agent's going to be like, man, that house sold a year ago. It appreciated 50K, which means they probably can't go down 100K for you. I'm sorry, but it's just not a realistic ask for them, right? It might be, and who says they won't try? But a good agent knows more than one way to help put the buyers in the best place possible without screwing over the sellers. Let me tell you, if your goal is to screw over the other side and take advantage of them, your business will fall apart so fast. Your deals will fall apart. I have coached agents who are like, I don't know why my deals keep falling through. And I'm like, because you're a terrible agent. You're mean. You don't have solutions to problems. All you do is take problems and make them bigger problems. You don't listen to the other side. You don't have empathy. You can be a great fiduciary person for a buyer's agent and still understand where the seller's coming from. A good salesman knows what the other side is going through, knows what their needs are, knows how best to make a deal happen.
A good deal, everybody leaves happy.
A good deal, everybody leaves happy. All right, let's get into crazy questions. Is it time to start planning the 2023 mortgage rate stabilization celebration party yet? Or should we wait until it's a little more certain? Larry.
Well, I mean, us being in business for more than a year, we already know that the rates are unpredictable no matter what. Right?
No, they're always the same, I thought.
Yeah. No, they're not always the same. if they're always the same, I wouldn't have a job. Okay. you would have order takers taking.
Right, you wouldn't need a broker.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Yeah. You wouldn't need someone like me to do your deal. You just plug in your application and you're done, right?
All right, put your party hats away, everybody. Larry says it's not time to party yet.
No. No, I think we're just gonna have to wait and see. And again, I think this is gonna be a case by case basis year. I think there might be that one segment of people who are really lucky, and they decide to buy at that moment when the rates like drop right away, right before the prices go back up, right? Because we know if rates go down, prices are gonna go up, right? We already know this. If rates go down, let's say the rates go down to the 4s, maybe 3s, but I don't know, but 4s, everyone and their mom is going to start buying houses again. And then boom, 50 offers again, right? We know that's going to happen.
And
right?
over asking, and then you would have been better off buying at 5 or 6%
Yes.
than paying over asking at 4%.
Yeah. So there'll be that small segment of people who got lucky because they were right there ready to buy, and then boom, rates go down, and they were able to still negotiate their price
because everybody else was like, oh look, rates went down, we should probably get pre-approved finally. I've been telling you for the last 6 months.
Yes, those people are last week, right? They're too late.
Next question. Do you think we'll be able to convince sellers to finally come down on their prices in 2023, or will we have to resort to more drastic measures like offering them free avocado toast? Chris.
Oh man.
Pretty good offer. Let's be real.
Avocado toast from which restaurant though? So I mean that's gonna kind of be a game changer here.
Insert your favorite restaurant here.
All right. I mean, sellers are already coming down some. They're already negotiating. They're already paying closing costs. Already paying rate buy downs. It's already here. I don't think that avocado toast is going to be 100% necessary. Maybe like 8% necessary.
8%? That's
maybe
it?
Like 8%.
But dude, I just stocked up on so much toast.
I think it could have like an 8% effect on the deal.
I bought a 32 slice toaster for this.
I mean, honestly, if somebody like wrote down, hey, I will also include avocado toast, like I might be more likely to want to work with them, but like probably 8%.
I mean, that's not bad. I'll take the 8% over not any more percent. All right, next question.
Every percent counts.
Is it socially acceptable to do a happy dance at the prospect of declining rental prices? This is coming from a guy, by the way, who owns rentals. Larry.
I think it's perfectly socially acceptable. I think it's socially acceptable to dance for any reason. Prices going up, prices going down, rates going up. I think it's social. I think you dance whenever if you go to TikTok, people's dancing for avocado toast, right? So yeah, it doesn't matter.
There is dancing avocado toast probably on YouTube. I'm sure you can find avocado toast that is dancing.
Guarantee. I think I've seen it a couple of times. My son has a subscription to it for sure.
To avocado toast
dancing, yes. Avocado toast dancing, yes. I can probably find that video and show it to you.
Okay, next question. Is it too soon to start calling ourselves market mavens and using words like downturn with reckless abandon? Chris.
Next.
He said, listen, there's a line, Robert, and you crossed it. We don't use words like that around these parts.
Yeah, this is me over here looking at you like you're crazy. That's what that was like.
That's why I'm the host of the show. Everybody looks at the host like, what's his problem? And then the guests look a lot more like awesome and socially amazing. And the host is just the weird guy, right?
Way more bearded than you are.
That's right. Okay, well, fine. How about this? We talk about some practical ways that agents can use this to serve their clients. We always love to leave the show. All the jokes aside, we're going to go over some quick slides, just how you can actually take this as an agent and go do something useful with it. Okay, so laughing faces off, serious faces on. Real estate agents, you can use this article as an opportunity to educate your clients on the current state of the housing market and help alleviate any fears they may have about a potential crash. They don't know what you know. And in fact, you didn't know what you know until we probably told you today. You just had assumptions. Well, let's talk about data and facts so that you can address fears with the truth. You can explain that although the market did experience a slowdown due to rising mortgage rates and inflation, home prices have actually remained largely resilient and are expected to stay stable roughly in the coming year. Now, like Larry and Chris have always said, you can't predict it, but we do follow the data. And if the data keeps telling us it's probably okay, it's probably okay. Right. And you should probably, if you can reasonably take advantage of this, take advantage of it. You'll be really pissed off, and your clients will be 10 times more pissed off if they were kind of ready and you didn't walk them through the process to take action, and then the market shifts again and interest rates go up. We see another slowdown on new homes being listed, right? They're going to be pissed. I'm telling you, they will blame you. They will blame you. Don't be the reason you get blamed. You can also highlight the high levels of appreciation that homeowners are currently experiencing, and the fact that even those that bought at the tippity top of the pandemic are not expected to see significant declines in their home values, if any, and some are projecting appreciation still. I'm going to use myself as an example. I bought right before the crazy just hike in prices, okay, which the hike in prices went first. And then it went inflation, right? Because inflation catches up. It's never preventative. It's always reactive. Always. The Fed is so slow. So my home was valued at $291 when I bought it. Okay, bought it $291 brand new. Then a year later, it was valued at $398. Unbelievable. Okay. Well, guess what? It's valued at right now, $389. Had I not taken advantage, by the way, when I bought, it was still considered really high. Chris knows it. He's a local. I bought an Old South home. Okay. And they were sold out. I knew them and I got in early. They had waiting lists, like there were 70 like people in front of us or something. It was wild, right? It was that tap out area where Chris, if you remember, every new construction had this giant waiting list that was like, you better hope a bunch of people don't show up to their meetings to sign the contracts, because you're never going to make it if they don't. So now my home, yeah, sure. It went down from where it was earlier this year, but I'm still way up from when I actually bought it. Mm-hmm. Right? So that's a really important thing to teach your clients about, is that most people, not all, and listen, they probably made a bad decision and had a bad agent. I'm just being real with you. And a bad loan officer. Loan officer should protect people. The agent should be advising people too. We should be advising clients. Chances are they had bad representation and bad internal decision-making for those who are upside down. Everybody else, all my past clients who bought in the last year are still up. They're still in good positions. We didn't see a house going from $400K to $250K. That didn't happen. Instead, we saw houses that were $350K get bought at $400K and then resonate and settle right around $380, $390. Right? Well, what happens is they appreciated over the course of these adjustments, and they're still up. Mm-hmm. Additionally, you can point out the resilience of the remodeling boom. A lot of agents don't know this, but a significant amount of people have been remodeling their homes, which shows that homeowners are still invested in their properties despite the market slowdown. They care about their properties. They're trying to fix them up. What are they fixing them up for? They've been living with the blemishes for so long. Do you know what inevitably happens typically when someone starts to fix up their home? Cha-ching, cha-ching. Their brain goes, I spent money on this. I'd love to make money on this. Hey, this kitchen looks good. I wonder how much we could sell this home for now. You just do, right? It's like when you go and get dressed up and you're like, well, now I'm going to go out and make sure people see me. If you're staying at home in pajamas, you're probably not going to go out and draw much attention. But if you work yourself up inside to go and get all dressed up nice, what you're inevitably going to do is be like, I feel like I should go show this to someone. I'm going to go to a bar. I'm going to go to the club. I'm going to go drop by Larry's house and be like, what's up? I'm beautiful.
Yeah, you start taking a bunch of selfies and posting it.
Selfies, right? Remodeling is no different. Someone put work into their home. They want people to appreciate that work. People appreciate the work and they want to make money. All right. Overall, you can reassure your clients that the current market is strong and stable, not by opinion, by data. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of closings happening every single month. There are people locking in loans. Larry would be out of job. Chris would be out of job. I'd be out of a job. There would be so many more people out of a job, no matter how good they are, right? They'd be out of a job if there wasn't demand. That's the facts. Chris can't sell homes and be a top producer if there are no homes to sell and no one to buy them. But he is a top producer. He is an icon bearded agent, which means he sold a buttload of homes last year. Okay, so the market is strong and stable, and encourage them to consider the long-term benefits of homeownership rather than focusing on the short-term market fluctuations. That's another issue that I see agents. Agents are thinking just as short-term. Real estate is one of the longest long-term things out there. You want to go play short-term game, fine. Go invest in crypto. I'm not telling you to invest in crypto. I'm saying if you want volatility, crazy profits overnight, potentially, or losing it all overnight, go play that game. That's not real estate. Real estate you buy long term. People who bought in the market crash are up. They weren't up the next day. They weren't up the next year, but they were up in the next 5 years. If they're in 10 years, man, you should check some of those people who bought $60,000 homes. Chris and I actually have a local guy that we both might know who owns like 80 rental properties around Murfreesboro. He crushes it. I said, what's the secret to your success? He said, I bought everything in the crash. I bought a $60K home that's now worth $400K right now. How's that for equity? And he's like, I just used the equity of every home I bought back then to grow my business. But guess what? Everybody at that time told him it was a bad time to buy. Everybody told him that. Everybody said, you can't buy houses in this market. It's crashing. He said, what? You mean people are going to stop living in houses from here on out? We're just all going to live in some sleeping bags and campfires, and everybody's magically got a acoustic guitar and sing Kumbaya. Someone's going to still need a place to sleep with a roof over their head. If I can wait it out, I'm going to make a lot of money. Guess who makes a lot of money right now? He does. So agents, I hope this helped you with the forecast of 2023. I hope that gave you some insight on what to do, because you can do something. Okay. You can do something. You can make it useful. You can go make a lot of money, help a lot of people at the exact same time. And guess what? What's really, really awesome about us as real estate agents is that we can actually help stimulate our own local economy. If people buy houses, your economy will become stimulated. Let me tell you. Look at the data. Look at the stats. Chris, Larry, thanks for being on the show. Thanks for going 8 minutes over with me. It's all my ridiculous questions. Let's be real. Eventually, I'm going to have like a little timer that comes up, and then everybody can hold me accountable for going off on my question tangents. But they're just funny, and I just start writing them, and I'm like, oh, that one's funny. Oh, Chris is going to roll his eyes on this one. I knew the reckless abandon one. The moment that question came up, I knew Chris was going to be like, nope. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being on the show. It was always a pleasure to have you. Can't wait to have you guys on again.
Later, guys.
Later.
Bye. For everyone that was watching, that was Scale Through the Fail. We go live every Friday, 9 a.m. Central. We focus on going live on YouTube, and we're going to be shifting in that direction. So make sure to head on over to our YouTube. I'm going to pull that up on the screen for you one more time, at Robert Bean Official. And subscribe. We're working on building that channel out for you. If you have any suggestions or feedback on making the show better, if there's things you loved, tell me what you loved. If there's things you hated, tell me what you hated. I want to make the show better and better for you, which means I need your feedback. I need your help. All right, guys. Thank you for watching Scale Through the Fail. Go crush it. Have an amazing week, and I will see you